everyone. Welcome to the Cinema Asylum Podcast special review for the latest Sony Spider, whatever this thing is called, Universe's Kraven the Hunter. This is supposedly the final one, but we'll see. I am Garrett, the indie and drama expert.
And I am John Thompson. I am the action and animation expert. And believe it or not, this is our final new movie of this year that we'll be reviewing in 2024. And it's either going to end up with a bang or it's going to end with a whimper. It's going to depend on how we feel.
I'm still waiting on Nosferatu. That will be the ultimate palate cleanser.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But in the meantime, welcome to our episode. Before we actually do get started, people, just want to let you know that the great Dick Van Dyke celebrated his 99th birthday on December 13th.
Legend.
So happy birthday to the great comedy legend of Dick Van Dyke. Did you see that video where he did with Coldplay?
Yes.
That was beautiful.
It was great.
That was beautiful. The movie, on the other hand, it may not be beautiful, but it's going to depend on what we're going to say about it. So, without further ado, let's go and get started.
We preface this. We're the only ones in the group that have seen this.
Yes. Unfortunately, Matthew missed out on this one.
We did
and
not.
Dyllan.
But we did not go into details about how we thought of it.
Yes,
before. And
exactly.
So now will be when we can actually talk about it.
That's
and
right.
This is going to be really fascinating.
Yep, and you have no idea what I thought about the movie. You have no idea.
No, I don't.
I know how you feel about it, but that's gonna be
It's
interesting.
pretty clear how I feel.
Yeah,
but I have so much to say about this fucking movie that I can go on for hours. But I'll let you go first.
Okay, because I definitely have a lot of things to say as well. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So going into this movie, when I heard that Kraven was actually was doing a movie, immediately I was thinking to myself, that's not a bad idea. Because Kraven the Hunter is by far one of the more interesting characters that I think could have been a good lead character for a movie. And the Kraven that I remembered, not just from the comics, but also from the incredible video game of the Insomniac Spider-Man 2, which is fantastic. Such a great villain, and also very tough to beat, but such a fascinating villain. So I thought to myself, okay, this could have potential. Maybe this movie actually could be good. Maybe Sony has learned their lesson from the last movie that they actually did, and maybe it can actually be at least decent. Then, of course, I heard the reviews were not very good, so I came in with at least expectations. I was still thinking, okay, I heard it's got bad reviews. No surprise. Maybe it'll still be decent. At least I hope that it actually will be decent. And just like Madam Web, I'm afraid to tell you that this is one of the worst movies I have seen this year.
Thank you.
This movie is garbage. Let's talk about why, because this one disappointed me, because I was really hoping that Sony would at least get it right for once, besides the Venom movies that I actually did enjoy. But, dear God, not just Madam Web, but the dialogue in this movie, like, what the fudge was that? The dialogue was just atrocious, just like that movie. The CGI, once again, just like Madam Web, was just horrendous. And I gotta say too, the CGI animals, like, you can say all you want.
The Lion King had better CG.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say.
I don't even like that goddamn movie. They looked more realistic than any of these fucking things.
Absolutely. I mean, say what you want about the Lion King remake. It was gorgeous. It was wonderful to look at, and it looked realistic. This one looks so cartoonish, which we'll get to why later. But like the visuals, the action was underwhelming. The CGI, it did not look realistic. I will say the saving grace is Aaron Taylor Johnson. I will say he was one of the better parts of the movie, which is why I would say that was a better casting choice than Dakota Johnson as Madam Web. So thank goodness they took care of that one. And the music score, I will say, was nice. but the rest of the characters was just, uh, duh. Russell Crowe was awful. Which we'll get to more why later. And then you get the other characters, and then we're gonna get to other stuff. Like we can go on and on and on, which we are gonna go on and on why
Yeah.
I despise this
We're gonna
movie.
talk spoilers.
Yeah,
about
in just a
this.
moment. But overall, it's another terrible movie, but a Sony universe. And this is the one I actually had faith in. So God forbid if you actually came and thought it was going to suck. And this is exactly why Sony is now my least favorite company. Sony, I now hate you. You are the worst company in history. Now Disney at least Disney. Yes, I know about the dark behind the scenes stuff, but at least Disney can make some good stuff. Sony, on the other hand, they've been making just stupid decision after stupid decisions. I'm going to hold in my rant a little bit later when we get to the spoiler stuff. But I assume, yeah, Gary, you're pretty much on my side on this
Let
point.
me just crack my knuckles a little bit.
Yes, let's crack it out. Here we go. Let's start out.
Okay, so, I am not a fan of any of these Sony movies.
I know.
There's some that I like more than others. I think the Venom movies are the better ones. At least they have something going for them.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed enough the second Venom. I didn't care for the first Venom. I didn't care much for this last Venom movie that just came out. The other three movies are some of the worst films I've seen this decade. Like Morbius, I thought was just extremely dull and mediocre. I thought Madam Web was the worst one that I had seen to that point. Like one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
And guess who liked it? It wasn't me.
Yeah. Like, in the trailers for this movie, compared to all the others, because the trailers for Madam Web told you that that movie was gonna suck. There was no hiding how bad that was.
Sony knew it was gonna suck.
Yeah, like, and Kraven, judging by the trailers, was looking like the better one of these Sony movies. Like, at least in terms of the action, it was going for a hard R rating. It was like a revenge action film. It was like, okay, maybe they actually have something here. And I like the cast. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I like some of the other actors in this movie.
Yeah.
And then this is one of those movies that just kept getting pushed back so many times.
It was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah, last October, I think. And then
Yeah.
it got pushed all the way back to
They did
this
reshoots.
December.
Which, of course, they did reshoots.
They've done reshoots on every single one of these
Exactly, they
movies.
did.
So why? It's not even surprising there.
No,
So
it's not. It's not. It's
hopefully,
just, it's crazy.
And I was like, I like the trailers. Okay for this. Let's see. Then the reviews started coming in for this like last week.
I didn't read the reviews until after the movie was over.
I usually, if I'm looking forward to a movie, I really don't look at reviews that closely. Like I'll see the Rotten Tomatoes score and like read a couple of my trusted critics that I listen to.
Yeah.
And that'll be it. And I save my experience for when I see the movie. This one though, I was stunned by how bad the reviews were because I kept hearing in the reviews that it was the worst one. Like from several reviews, I'm like, no, you can't be serious.
No,
like we just
you cannot be serious.
We've had 3 of these movies this year. One of them is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and this was the worst one. And I'm like, okay, I am so fascinated, and I just started reading and watching every review that I could from this movie before I saw it. Because I was just like, I was baffled by the idea that this could be worse than Madam Web. I was like, I was getting excited. Like, I was actually getting excited.
And
to
I look
see,
like a hypocrite when I said I was excited for this movie.
Like I was getting no, I'm not excited because I thought that it was gonna be good, just because of how bad the reviews were.
Okay.
And how they were saying this was
Okay,
a complete
gotcha.
train wreck. And I was like, okay, now I'm curious to see just how bad, just what a fucking colossal wreck this movie is. And I got 3 friends together. We saw this movie Friday night. We were all pumped to see just what the hell this thing was gonna be. And yeah, this movie is the worst one.
Yeah,
This is
without a
somehow
doubt.
The worst one of these Sony Spider-Man-less villains.
Actually, I would say it's equally worse with Madam Web. Equally.
It's at least tied with Madam
yeah,
Web.
I agree with you. But personally, I think David Taylor
honestly,
Johnson, yeah.
This movie made me look at Madam Web and think, you know what? Some things about that weren't that bad compared to what I just saw. Because, I mean, there's several reasons why. But, like, Kraven the Hunter is just... I was baffled. I was baffled by how bad this fucking movie is. This movie is just... Oh, my God. Like, I was mesmerized. Me and my friends, when we saw this like movie Friday night, there were like 5 other people in the screening with us.
There was 8 people that went to go see it. I was very shocked. I was like, wow.
That is not good for a movie like this.
No.
That is not what you want. Yeah, and today I read the box office results for this. They were worse than Madam Web. Less people went to see this movie opening weekend than they did for Madam Web in that opening weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
How much did it make exactly?
It made this movie. Kraven made $11 million opening weekend, and Madam Web made $15 million.
Oh God.
It's
110 to 130 million dollars, which
that is awful.
We're gonna get more to the visuals later on this one.
Yeah, this is Avi Arad. I don't know you personally, but you fucking suck as a movie producer. Good God, you suck. There's so many things wrong with this fucking movie. Like I don't even know where to begin. I'm gonna start with the acting. Because
please do.
This movie has pretty much all actors that I think are really good to great. Some of my favorite actors. I love Russell Crowe. I love Ariana DeBose, both of whom have won Oscars. Ariana DeBose won for West Side Story. Russell Crowe is one of my favorite actors. And I really liked Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he can be really great. I loved him in Bullet Train. I love him in Kick-Ass. I love him in other stuff like that. And everyone in this movie is made to look like the worst actor that they can. I don't know what direction they were given. And this is directed by a good director.
Yeah.
Unlike Madam Web was directed by a first-time director, so I don't really blame them for that. This movie is directed by J.C. Chandor, who has directed several good movies. He directed a movie called Margin Call from 2011, which is a great movie about the housing market collapse. Really great movie.
Okay.
He directed a movie called All Is Lost with Robert Redford.
Triple
really
Frontier.
Good.
He did
Triple
that one.
Yeah,
which I heard good things about that one.
I didn't love that movie, but it was definitely decent. A Most Violent Year too, which is a great movie as well.
Oh, I need to watch that.
I don't know what the fuck happened here. Sony probably got so involved with everything that was going on here that everything just completely fell to shit, including the acting. I am at a loss for words how bad the acting is in this film.
Oh, if you think the directing was crazy, I read who the writers were.
Now, the writers have written a couple good films, but they've also written some really bad films.
Yeah. I got the list right here, guys. In case you actually were wondering, like, I didn't know who wrote this after the film was over. Like, I did some research, and I thought to myself, it's got to be the same writers that did, like, Madam Web or Morbius. No, there actually are good writers. And now, these are the movies I personally think are great movies, and these are the writers that actually are good writers. Richard Wank, he wrote for The Expendables 2, which I really enjoy.
solid.
the remake of the Magnificent Seven, which I
Was-
loved.
was pretty solid.
Yeah,
too.
pretty underrated for me. Art Markham and Matt Holloway. I actually liked the Uncharted movie. I actually liked that
I
one.
didn't see it.
I might.
I didn't- I
a
didn't
lot of
really
people
want
actually
to.
loved it, and my brother and sister enjoyed it, and also my
I'm
mom
a
and
big-
dad enjoyed it.
I'm a big Uncharted fan of the video game, and I just
I think you'll like it
I
decent.
looked at the movie from the trailers and like this. I don't think they.
I think
captured
you
it.
would like it decent, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Uncharted, I thought that I actually had good writing in it. But also, Art Markham and Matt Holloway, they were also the writers of Iron Man.
Yeah. Well,
Y-
I have a little bit more to it than that. They did write Iron Man, which is obviously great, but
Which what the frick?
from I've heard a lot of stories about the making of the first Iron Man. A lot of the movie was not even written when they started shooting, and a lot of it was improvised.
Really
by a lot of the
interesting.
cast. And so I can't really put the success of Iron Man entirely on the writers, but they are still attached to a good project
Okay,
there.
but yeah, still, how can you go from the first movie in the cinematic universe to writing the final movie in this universe? Like, what the crap is this?
I'm gonna
like-
I'm gonna talk about the script. I want to get back to the acting here.
Yes, please.
Aaron Taylor Johnson has. I disagree with you about how Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I like this guy a lot. He has zero charisma in this movie. He has zero.
Well, he did keep saying, "I'm a
personality.
hunter. I'm a hunter."
Yeah,
So
the entire goddamn movie. That's all he fucking says. That is every time a
that's
character
the
asks
only thing I
someone,
find decent about
"I'm
the
a
movie
hunter.
was him.
I hunt people."
But the rest, however, I mean, I could give a crap about the other actors. Like,
Ariana DeBose,
my gosh.
for an Oscar winner, gives one of the worst performances I have ever seen. And I'm not blaming her entirely because 50% of her dialogue is dubbed in ADR. It's the same thing with goddamn Madam
I try to
Web.
find ADR, and I keep having so much trouble
Every
finding
time-
ADR.
Like half of her dialogue is dubbed.
I just
I don't know why. Like
he just
it's the same thing that happened with Madam Web with the villain in that movie. Like, did they not have did they constantly change dialogue in post? Like, what the fuck?
yeah.
And she had, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, she has nothing she said I believed at all. I didn't believe a single line she said.
Not
And
as
that,
str-
she
not
is
as
a good actress.
not as Strepo as Rhino. Which can I get to him
Alessandro-
on this one? Like,
Yeah.
like, right.
I'm gonna say, out of all the actors in the movie, he seemed like the one who understood the kind of the train wreck that he was in because he
Well, yeah.
hammed it. He is hamming it the fuck up. In
Oh
this
God.
movie.
And yeah,
He is so corny.
see that's the reason why I sort of got excited for it, because Rhino was actually in the movie, which he's another one of the more
It
fascinating
is
characters.
Such a bad, it is. If you thought the Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was bad, just watch this.
Actually, I will defend Rhino in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 because Paul
It-
Giamatti is a
It
great
was at
actor,
least
and I like
somewhat
and I
accurate.
like his over-the-top performance.
I didn't.
What the frick was this one? Now, I never heard of this actor. I assume he's an excellent actor.
He's out. He's in a movie right now that's out. That's getting Oscar buzz all across the board, and I hear he's great in it. It's that movie with Adrian Brody called The Brutalist.
Oh, okay.
He's in an Oscar worthy movie right now.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he's also in this piece of shit.
Oh, gotcha. So yeah,
Um,
but he played
just find
but he
that
played as Rhino.
And you might not recognize him, but he was also in Face Off, the movie Face Off with Nicolas Cage.
Okay, I need to
And
watch
he was
that.
also in Jurassic Park 3.
I actually
if
like
you're-
Jurassic Park 3.
What was Billy? Was his name? The character's name? Yeah, he. I honestly didn't recognize him from like the trailers in this, but it is the same actor.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he was doing in this movie.
Which we'll get to is why his acting was so bad. But Rhino, that character, he ticked me off.
He is
Like, that was
so
by
over the
far the
top.
more disappointing things in this movie, is how terribly written Rhino was in
It's
this movie.
awful.
Like, Sony, what the fudge? What is this?
Remember the scene where one of his henchmen approaches him in like his office or wherever, and he literally does this.
Yeah, and I was just
What
thinking,
the fuck was that?
I was like, what is that?
That is just a one-time thing. He doesn't do it again for the rest of the movie. It is so out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and no one
so out of
brings that
nowhere.
up,
It's
ever.
so bad.
What the hell was that?
I mean,
my
Rhino was
God.
just so bad. And don't even get me started with the visual on Rhino.
Oh my
That
God.
was dreadful. Like, I
Oh
could not
my
believe.
God. And
Like,
that whole thing, they never explain. Well, they might have explained. I didn't fucking catch it, but like they never explain why he turns into a rhino. It is never explained.
oh God, I didn't
and
even
they never
think about
show
that.
They never explain visually. Like, god damn.
Like, Jesus Christ,
And,
Sony.
and there's so many villains in this that have no. The Foreigner, which is a Spider-Man villain that I'm not familiar with at all. First of all, it's not even the Foreigner from the comics that I am aware of. It's a
The
completely
guy was going shoo, 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 shoo.
What? Okay, they never explain his fucking power. What does he do?
He looks like a rip-off of Quicksilver.
Yeah,
It's
but it's not
exactly Quicksilver.
It's not even like super speed. It's like some weird like hypnosis or something like that. They don't explain shit in this movie.
they don't
They
explain
don't
it.
explain anything.
Like,
It
immediately
is
when I saw
so bad.
when I saw him, I was just thinking, that's got to be Quicksilver. That's got to be the villain version of Quicksilver.
No.
No, it's not Quicksilver. It's just a rip-off of Quicksilver, which
But
Sony.
it's not even super speed. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I am so much pain.
Spoiler alert, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
None of you are going to see this movie. The chameleon is in this movie.
I
Kraven's
want to save the ending for later for that one.
but chameleon is also in this. For
Yeah,
some
which we'll
fucking
get to why.
reason.
Okay, so let's get let's get to the spoilers. So
Yeah.
so start at the beginning of the movie. I will admit that the first 7-8 minutes I thought was decent.
Those were the 8 minutes that were released on online by Sony.
I didn't watch
when
it.
When I watched that on like the first 8 minutes online, I was like, this doesn't look bad.
No,
Like,
it doesn't. No.
And when I was watching the movie in the theater, I was like, okay, these 8 minutes aren't bad. This
Yeah.
isn't a disaster yet.
Yeah. So
As
so the
soon
first
as I said that, and as soon as those 8 minutes are done,
what do we
plane
get?
crash.
What do we get? A flashback of when
That's
Kraven
30
was
minutes long. A 30
you
minute
get a
long
flashback. You get a flashback of Kraven and his daddy issues for 25 to 30 minutes, which
This
which
movie
I should
has
have-
no structure. This
Which-
movie has no 3-act structure.
I should have known it was going to go downhill after that, but I thought to myself, okay, backstory. I've seen sort of backstories before like this before, which maybe it's going to get better after backstory. No, it gets much worse than this.
Oh my
And
God.
then you get through so many stupid stuff that's in this movie. And by the way, speaking of the visuals, when that scene where the lion picks up
Oh,
I
God.
assume the Kraven is supposed to be dead. It doesn't look realistic. It looks so
It looks-
cartoonish
it looks
when the
worse than
lion was picking up the human with his mouth. It's
Oh,
so
God.
bad. Like, I could not believe
Yeah,
how not
Simba-
realistic this movie
Simba
was.
in the 2019 version looked better.
You think?
Yeah.
Like, so
that flashback is so stupid on
that's
so
one of the
many
most pointless
levels.
things. Which
Um,
I know you talked about how much that you thought that the pacing of Venom, the
oh
last,
my God.
the last dance was
this
bad.
has the same
Pacing
problems.
in this movie is far worse. You get
Yeah.
8 minutes and like decent, 25 minutes of flashback, and then
Go back to the
the
present.
rest of it go back to
This-
Kraven.
What I mean by this movie has no structure, there's no it has no inciting incident. It doesn't follow filmmaking structure. It doesn't have screenwriting structure.
No.
This movie feels like it has no beginning, middle, or end.
No.
It just random shit happens and none of it flows together at
No.
all.
No.
Um,
And so then you get to the rest of the movie. As I said this before, the action was just so underwhelming.
Like, yeah, that was the thing that excited me about the trailers. I was expecting to see like gory, like hardcore R action, and the editing is fucking terrible.
It is. It's so bad.
And like, yeah, there's blood and gore in this, but like it feels like it has no weight. It doesn't feel like it has any. It doesn't feel real. Like I don't know. It just whatever they did.
So yeah,
they fucked it up.
so yeah, and trust me, guys, we got a lot of time. So let's get to the other things about the dialogue that also just absolutely make me
all
so
of
mad.
this movie is just people explaining shit.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Exposition. The entire movie.
Right.
That is all
right.
the dialogue.
Like I said, the entire dialogue was just so stupid.
It's just explaining
and also,
plot points to you.
And also, Russell Crowe, I gotta ask you a question, okay?
His accent is so
ask him,
bad.
ask him the question. And Garrett, I need to ask you this question
Yeah, sure.
as well. Was he trying to do a British accent?
No, well, he's Australian, but
well, he was actually
he
born
was
in New
trying to
Zealand.
he was doing a really bad Russian accent.
Oh, Russian accent.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That is one of the worst.
He sounds like fucking.
I heard some really bad accents. Like
yeah.
I heard.
And also, just real quick to bring up the fact, Kraven in this movie is not even Russian. He has an American accent. He talks like he speaks Russian, but yeah, just in
like I
case
said,
you were
he's
wondering-
trying. He was trying his best, but the British accent that Russell Crowe was doing.
No, Russian.
Russian. I'm sorry, Russian. Even though it says
It might as well be
London,
British.
yeah. Even though
was
it
so
said
bad.
like it was in London, which again, how does that work? I don't know. But the
It's terrible.
accent in this movie, oh Jesus Christ! When
And
I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
he's muttering under his breath the entire movie.
Yeah, it felt
And,
like he was half
um,
asleep.
And speaking of his dialogue, like you know how Kraven, all he says in the movie is "I'm a hunter. I hunt people."
I'm a hunter.
All that
I'm a
Russell
hunter.
Crowe, all that Russell Crowe says in this movie is, "You are weak. You must be strong. Your mother was weak." That's all he says.
That
is all
accent
his
was
dialogue.
just so dreadful. Good
Um,
God! Like
every character, is so there. No character in this movie has dimension or any development at all.
no, so yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm literally really asking myself,
God, I'm
why
sweating.
in the
so mad at this movie.
why in the world were you trying to do a Russian accent? Can you just do a regular accent, please?
Like it wouldn't have been accurate to the comic, but I mean,
it
you're not
wouldn't even
being accurate.
matter though.
You're
like
not being accurate anyway. Like
like
don't even try.
oh my gosh, he was just so dreadful in this movie, which that really shocked me because Russell Crowe, as we talked about
He's an
before,
amazing
is
actor.
yeah, and this
I
is
don't know what the fuck
this
he's
is
doing.
this is the best you can do in this one. So
I don't blame him. I just blame terrible studio direction. And
yeah,
I
mean,
I don't know what happened with this movie. I just really don't.
I mean, for the
You
love
have
of
a
for the
good
love of
director.
God, this is just torture. Like, okay,
just
so
don't know
I
what
thought to
happened
myself,
here.
okay, that accent was pretty terrible. Let's get to some more reason why. Yeah, like I said, we got a lot of things to get into.
Oh my god.
The one thing that I also did not understand, which I thought to myself, yeah, no kidding, movie. There is a scene where the lady character,
Ariana DeBose.
yeah, Ariana DeBose's character,
Calypso.
Calypso.
That character has no reason to be in this goddamn movie.
No.
Like, no reason at
I think
all.
she was one of
does
the other.
Nothing.
I think she was one of the characters in that video game too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's like in the comics. She's like Kraven's like love of his life.
Yeah,
she's his
yeah,
love interest.
okay.
They don't. I wouldn't even call this like a romance in this movie. They have no
No,
chemistry
no
at
chemistry,
all.
no.
And
So-
they don't even really get together. They just
Yeah.
she
so
does nothing in this fucking movie.
yeah. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. So there's a conversation between Calypso and Kraven, and apparently she asked him, "So what was happening when you were back there? What was going on?" And he actually said, "I heard a lot of people screaming, and they were in panic." Yeah. No crap, movie. No crap. Like, of course they were screaming in terror. Like, what did you expect?
The I just want to bring up
They're
most-
laughing back there,
what is
guys.
going to be the most famous line of dialogue from this movie, or infamous in this case. My grandmother died, and I haven't seen her since.
Okay, I thought you were kidding when you sent me
thought
that
I
line.
was joking.
Yeah.
That was an actual line of dialogue that was put in this movie.
It-
What? the fuck?
And and I was actually waiting for that line. And
Me too.
And I
Like,
saw, and you were close to
thought-
what you were saying, and then and this is my reaction. It was like, huh, that's very odd.
like, oh my, like that joke remember that line in Infinity War where Thor goes, "Not if I die," and Peter Dinklage goes, "Yes, that's what killing you means." It was like that, but that was a joke. This wasn't supposed to be a joke. It was meant to be a serious line.
Before I continue, Garrett, okay, Garrett, I refuse to believe that Sony was trying to make a good movie. I refuse to
I think
believe
they're
it.
purposely making these movies as bad as they are.
Yeah,
Like, there's no way.
It has to be intentional. Like, it had to be intentional to
don't
make a bad
know
movie.
Why they keep making the same mistakes over
And
over
and
again.
over again, yeah.
Like, at some point, you have to be like, maybe we should listen to the critics on this one.
They never
No.
did.
We should probably make a PSA. Dyllan and I are making cookies. That's what
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Don't mind them.
But that one I was just thinking, yeah, no crap. But of course you mentioned that scene for Ryan. What I was thinking,
Whatever that
what
was.
I was just thinking, that is not Rhino. Just no, dude.
No.
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 So, but that was just thinking to myself, wow. And the things
So
just keep getting more and more dreadful. Here's what-
Can we talk about the chameleon?
Oh, I want to get to him.
Okay, sure.
We'll get to him later. I guess I got some more things to say.
Okay.
Oh, he might need to hold me back. Okay. There's one scene also in the movie that also just ticked me up. Like, this just shows you how terrible the screenplay is in this movie. There's literally a scene. You get to the third act. Okay, this is where I'm going to get mad. I was already mad before. When you get to the third act finale, there's a scene where Kraven is actually sneaking into whatever that place
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Whatever that place
Whatever
is. Yeah.
it was. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. We don't care. There's a scene where he's sneaking up, and these two villain sidekicks are walking upstairs.
Yeah.
Here's why this ticks me off.
When he's hiding behind them.
When he's hiding behind them, and the two sidekicks, they just keep on walking and walking and walking, and I was just thinking to myself, they're going to turn around, they're going to see Kraven.
I swear to God, they do see him
Yeah,
when they turn.
they're gonna turn around. They're gonna be to see him. They don't turn around. They don't turn around in this movie. They don't turn around and say,
It was
"Oh
like
look, there's Kraven. We're gonna
It
try
was
to
like
kill
a
him."
cartoon.
Like, you bastards! My bug.
That was one of the moments that we were laughing at, like, because it was just so.
Oh, I was
stupid.
so angry at that
And,
scene.
like, that didn't make me angry. Really, when I saw the movie, I really seem angry as I'm talking about this. I'm not really so much angry at the movie in particular. I'm more angry at Sony for how incompetent they are. The movie, when I saw it with my friends, we were laughing through most of it.
See,
Like,
I
we
heard
were
it would have
having
been. I heard it would have
fun.
been so bad it's good movie, which I
Yeah.
wish I had, but I didn't have
I'm
fun.
so glad I did. If I saw this movie alone, I would have been miserable.
Yeah.
But
But that one just made me so mad. And also, I almost forgot to mention, no, of course, Spider-Man does not show up. Yeah, what a shocker, doesn't show up. There are some sort of references or Easter egg to Spider-Man. Oh, hi, Man Web, that I never see you again. Davy Bugle was in the Easter egg. Then there's some actual spiders.
oh my God, that part.
That's so
that was the
bad
part-
visuals.
That was the part, probably the only real part that really got me angry. Like, not really like laughing at it, more just offended. I was offended by that part with the fucking spiders that comes out of nowhere. That apparently his mother was afraid of spiders, and he is afraid of spiders, and that was never established anywhere in the goddamn movie until now, and it's never brought up again.
Nope.
That was just put in there just because.
Of Spider-Man.
What the fuck?
Like Sony, you have just got to be king. And I know what some of you are actually thinking. I know you guys are actually thinking right now, this sounds like something that the Asylum would make. Like,
It
the
really
Asylum
is.
that had those straight-to-DVD movies or straight-to-video movies, like they had those
It really,
blockbusters.
This feels
No,
like a
this is
straight.
actually is from a billion-dollar company.
This
like-
feels like a straight to. This has the quality of a
It
straight to
does.
video
It does.
movie.
Look, Sony, I know you did the Raimi trilogy, which I loved.
Yeah.
And there are some, and there actually are fans.
I really like the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, and there actually are fans that actually liked the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Yeah, and then of course you got the Spider-Verse films, which are incredible.
I don't even like Amazing Spider-Man 2 that much. I would watch that any day over any of these the movies in this universe ever again.
Yeah, and as I said before, there's the Tom Holland movies, which is also pretty great. You also got that trilogy and of course they have done some really good movies. But like this is Sony.
It really does blow me away how last year they released
Across the Spider-Verse,
a masterpiece, which was Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
and then 3 movies this year that are all Venom: The Last Dance I didn't like, but I tolerated it. These other 2 movies, I was at a loss for words with both of them.
Yeah, but it was just and then you get to the third act finale when you get to see Kraven and Rhino, which this is where you're hoping it would be the saving grace of this movie. No, the fighting scenes at the end, it was just so laughably
ridiculous.
Bad. Like, how did the trailer look better than the actual fight at the end?
The people who made these trailers for this movie need, like, awards.
Yeah.
For making
for
good
best trailers
out
better
of
than the movie.
Piece of garbage movie.
Yeah.
Like, they did a good job of making this movie look somewhat
no
competent.
Kidding. I mean, I could not believe what I was seeing when you got to the ending of the movie, when you see Kraven versus Rhino.
Bad.
Like, it was just so laughable. And then
Rhino looks awful.
He does. Like,
good God.
Like I also forgot to mention too. I rewatched the '90s Spider-Man TV show, which is a classic.
Oh.
It's a classic show. When you watch Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter, it makes these characters worse when you watch the '90s version and think to yourself, "Wow, the '90s version was actually better."
These characters don't make sense without the character of Spider-Man
No.
being there.
The only character
Venom,
that made sense was Venom.
Venom to an extent you can.
Yes.
Because he has spin-off comics and stuff like that. Like,
Correct.
You can do that. Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven, they don't have that.
No.
They don't have that
No.
foundation laid by the comic writers.
No, they don't.
These characters are made interesting by Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And without that, what are we doing here?
I mean, seriously, like it's so baffling how Sony can absolutely just screw this up. But but then when you get to the third act, it was just absolutely just atrocious. And this is where I got even more mad when you get into this to the next part, which we'll get when we get to the ending. After the scene where Russell Crowe gets killed by the bear, aka Kraven's father. Kraven's father. You expect this movie to be over, and then guess what? It says 1 year later.
Oh my God. That bear, the first that bear,
it was supposed to be over.
I know. I was like, when is? I seriously didn't know when this movie was gonna end. I really didn't, because this movie is structured so poorly.
Yeah.
That's the CGI bear that attacks Russell Crowe. That might have been the worst looking effect in the movie.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was horrible.
It was so bad. So then you get into what I like to call, which I know people don't think it's a plot twist, but you know what? Screw it. But you know what? Screw it. This is the plot twist that we're going to get into.
Never explained.
But I'm having so much fun reviewing this movie.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm glad this is the two of us.
I'm getting high off of my negativity right now.
Yeah, I'm getting high on my negativity too. So yeah, the relationship between Kraven and his brother, you just thought to yourself, it was just regular brothers. But here's the twist for you. Towards the end of the movie, it turns out that for some reason that Kraven has a brother.
And it's
Kraven and Chameleon are
brother.
actually
Well,
related.
that is in the comics. To be fair, like that.
Really?
In the Spider-Man 2 video game, in like the extended missions that you play, there's a chameleon mission, and I also found out through that chameleon. And
Are you
Kraven
talking
were
about the
brothers.
PS2?
No, the new Spider-Man 2 game.
Really? Huh? How come I
that
could
is
not?
a-
How come I could not catch that? That's weird.
But
I might need to catch that
mean,
again when I play
in
it.
this, first of all, I just don't understand the genetics, the family line. Of
No, I
why
didn't
any of
get.
that
I
makes
did
sense.
not get it either. Like
I don't get it. This movie never explains it.
No.
So I'm just gonna move on. Yeah, chameleon. All the lips. You know all the scenes where he's singing in the film, and like he sings like
Oh,
Sign
yeah,
of,
the
Sign of the
singing.
Times with
That
by,
was so
si-
pointless. Like
it was so ridiculous.
singing
it was
scenes,
so
like-
corny.
like
Oh my god.
like
that was the
Jesus
tip-off, 'cause
Christ.
those were the tip-off moments. Like, okay, this is chameleon. Obvious. Like this, a person can't just do that.
No. Like
It was awful.
like,
it was so fucking stupid.
like and then
and why is he transforming? There's people in that scene where he like shows his true form.
Yeah.
He's doing it in front of like a crowd of people. They're walking in a crowd of people, and he's just morphing into like different chameleon forms. Like, what are we doing?
yeah.
What,
They didn't run for their
oh my
lives.
God.
They didn't run for their lives. They never said, "Oh, look, it's a creepy
and no
guy."
one bats an eye.
No.
No one looks
No one
at this
bats
and
an eye.
is like, oh, what the hell is that? No.
I. Oh my.
Dude, what is this
oh,
movie?
Oh my.
What is this movie?
All I can say is,
And then
The-
at the very end, he gets his costume.
yeah.
Who cares?
Yes.
Who cares?
Who freaking cares?
And he gets it from his dad through a letter. Okay, whatever.
I mean, before I went to see the movie, I typed it on Google and found out and wondering there was an end credit scene. When it said there was no end credit scene, I was thinking, thank God that there was no end credit scene.
We sped walked out of the theater
I-
once the credits hit.
Oh,
We couldn't take it
Jesus.
anymore.
All I can say is to give you guys our full thoughts. As you can tell, we like this movie.
Yeah, I mean, Dune 2, move over. Kraven the Hunter. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say, guys, at this point, if there's one thing that I can take away from the Sony, what Sony has been up to at this point, I truly believe, guys, that honestly, the a couple things. One, anything that you actually hear from a movie company, I would recommend you don't trust Sony unless
Nope.
it's a new Spider-Man movie.
I trust them with video
or
games.
there's like a new Jumanji movie, which those are fun to watch. But
yeah.
Jesus Christ, when you get into like the Sony universe, which I would have had no idea that this was even a thing. I thought that just the Venom movies was just gonna be it, but then of course you get Morbius, which the more I think about it, the more I think it's a bad movie. After watching the
bad.
anime show,
Honestly, this and Madam Web make Morbius look like a masterpiece.
it
honestly.
does.
Like,
It absolutely
Morbius
does.
is a bad movie. It absolutely is. But like, and the thing, Madam Web compared to Kraven, at least has a clear beginning, middle, and end. You could at least tell when that movie was gonna end.
Yep.
Unlike this movie, which, I mean, it didn't even matter.
No, I mean that's all I can say, guys. Don't ever trust Sony, whatever movie they actually try to do, because
They top themselves with how bad they get.
they shot themselves in the foot. That's the thing. They shot themselves in the foot. That's really what happened. Like how do you go from some incredible Spider-Man movies and the animated movies and the Tom Holland movies, which we're going to get a fourth one coming out in 2026, which I cannot wait to
God.
see. I mean, how can you go
Why can't you get Beyond the Spider-Verse sped up?
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say,
why
you
is
mean to
that
tell me
taking
it's
so
worth
long?
waiting? It's worth waiting for months for Spider-Verse, but it's not worth waiting for
I
these
don't wanna
Spider-Verse
wait.
movies, the Villain-verse? Like,
I don't want to wait another 5 years for
no.
this. Like,
Like,
oh
at
my
this,
god.
like, at just.
I know the animation takes time. It really does.
It
and
does.
I don't want to rush the animators, but
No.
good God, just please get that movie made.
Yes,
so you can
please.
at least redeem yourselves
Exactly.
a little bit. Like,
But yeah,
God.
I mean, but just Sony, like I said, guys, don't trust Sony, whatever they're going to be doing, like their upcoming
No.
movie, and that's pretty much all I can say about those.
They have-
So that's the first thing.
They got nothing.
No, they don't. So that's the first thing. And second thing, the biggest part of all, and this is where I'm going to be completely serious, and I don't care if you guys ask me. I don't care if you guys actually are begging me and kept asking. The answer is still going to be no. I'll explain why I'm saying that. I got a New Year's resolution for 2025. I'm going to make myself a career change and to not review any more bad movies that come out in 2025.
Oh, that's gonna be tough.
I'm not going to do it because, like, the only reason why people want us to review bad movies just for entertainment purposes, I personally think it's wrong. Because, I'm being serious, because I have witnessed, and this is a new record for me, I have now seen 2 worse movies in theaters, which that has never happened before. I am let me let me finish.
It does.
Let me finish, Matthew.
It does.
Let me finish, Matthew. Shush. I am now seeing 2 terrible movies that came out in 2024.
And you also sat through the Star Wars holiday special.
There's a difference. It's not a new movie. I'm only talking about new movies that are coming out in 2025. I'm not talking about, like, movies that are so bad that did not come out in 2025. I'm only talking about new movies that are coming out next year. You are not going to see me review a bad movie that comes out that year. It's never going to happen. If they want to review a bad movie that comes out 2025, fine. Go ahead and do their thing. But as for my career change, no. I'm not going to be part of a movie that I know it's going to suck. Sony, you have fooled me once. You have fooled me twice with your terrible movies like Madam Web and Kraven. I'm not going to go through another dreadful movie that I know it's going to suck, even if it's from another company. I am not interested in movies I know it's going to say, well, I'm going to hate this. No. That's going to be my New Year's resolution. No more talk about bad movies that comes out next year. No.
Yeah. I am going to continue talking about movies when they're bad because
Have fun.
that is going to be the only. Well, Sony clearly doesn't listen to fucking critics.
Nope. No, they don't.
Obviously, but other companies probably do. That's gonna be the word has to get out when movies aren't as good as they can be. We can't just stand by and just coddle movies when they make mistakes. Like, I'm a filmmaker myself. And I believe every movie is so difficult to make, even the smaller ones. But just because they're difficult to make doesn't mean we should just let flaws go unaddressed. Flaws should be addressed every time.
Yeah, and Sony doesn't care about flaws. They just don't care.
That is the only way to improve and get better. And if we don't criticize shit, we get shit like fucking these movies.
Exactly.
And I'm not okay with that.
No, and that's facts, people. That's facts.
And fans deserve the best that they can get, and these are the opposite of that.
Yeah, exactly. And also
the box office and the cinema score, because this got a lower cinema score than Madam Web.
It got a C.
Lowest.
I just looked it up yesterday.
The other movies got like a C+. This has a C. That is woof.
Yeah, woof.
That just goes to show no one wants these movies anymore.
No.
No one wants these things anymore.
No.
Fucking put a little bit of effort into it, and oh my god.
Yeah, and by the way, I read something on Rotten Tomatoes I find incredibly disturbing. You might need to. Oh wait, you already are sitting down. We all know the critics gave it bad reviews at 15%. I was surprised to learn that audiences gave it a 72%,
okay.
72% popcorn fresh.
I never listened to that the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I never listened to it.
Well, this one is an exception because I got my response to that, and that is, what guys, are you even watching the same movie? What did you see out of this?
What did you honestly like? Was it the action? Was it just Aaron Taylor Johnson and he just looked sexy? Like, what about this brought any
unless they're one of those people
other
that's saying
other than thinking it's so bad it's good, which
could be fair.
That could be fair, but
I wish I was one of those people.
If you think this movie is actually any good, like objectively, I got problems with you, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. We got problems with you guys.
I don't usually say that, like, because I always like to discuss different opinions on movies, especially when we disagree. I've had plenty of disagreements with you, but I like having the conversation. Movies like this, honestly, just like make me go, how could anyone like this?
Yeah.
How could anyone see any value in what
I don't
is
know
being put on screen?
I seriously
Unless
don't know.
you were just the most casual, laid back, don't care about any kind of filmmaking whatsoever.
Yeah.
Then be my guest, but like don't talk to me.
Yeah,
That's
mean,
all I got to say about that.
Yeah, but seriously, I don't understand, guys, why you even like this movie. But those people that gave a bad review to Joker fully ado, you should do an apology because that movie is a masterpiece compared to this one. And I happen to love that movie.
That Joker 2 at least has ambition.
Yes.
It at least has something of a creative vision.
Absolutely,
it.
Yeah.
These Sony movies have none of that.
No.
At all.
Just Jesus Christ.
This is what happens when studios when studios just make content. That is all these movies are. They're content. They're not art. They're not, I wouldn't even call these films. They're just products.
Yep, they're
products. Just products. That's all they are.
Agree.
To milk a popular franchise and IP. That's all that's all these movies are. Even the Venom movies are guilty of that.
Yeah. And also my brain just came to me. Did you notice the tarot cards?
What? Yeah. What? What did those fucking mean?
Yeah, which that reminds me. It reminds me of another Sony movie that they made called Terror, which was also considered one of the worst movies of the year. Sony, you suck.
Sony and Lionsgate this year had a really awful year.
No kidding.
Lionsgate 2 with Borderlands, which was one I've heard is just one of the worst. Was also one of the worst movies ever made.
Gosh. I'm just
I'm not watching Borderlands. I have no intention of ever watching Borderlands.
Just Sony. I give up. I just freaking give up.
And it's by the same guy who produced all these Sony movies. So.
Oh wow.
Back off.
So yeah. So in conclusion, before we give our scores, I got multiple recommendations that you guys can absolutely do besides read a book, which that could be another good idea.
Do anything.
Yeah.
Season.
But I'm gonna get the multiple recommendations out of the way. If you're looking for something that involves Kraven and Spider-Man, I absolutely recommend you go play Insomniac Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's an incredible video game, one of the best video games I've ever played from last year. I actually played around 2024 for my birthday. It was pretty fantastic. As for comic book movies, the stream this week, go watch Deadpool Wolverine. It's a fabulous comic book movie. Watch the amazing documentary called Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, which I just watched it yesterday. Mm-hmm. It was so good. It was wonderful. I got so emotional. It was just so good. So definitely check out this one. And as for new movies to check out, to see this week, watch Moana 2 and Wicked.
Also, go check out the Punisher Nightmare fan film on YouTube.
Yeah. Even if you don't like musicals, just go see Wicked.
Absolutely. Wicked was just an amazing theater experience. I loved it so much. It was so good.
I've seen it 3 times now.
I'm actually going to buy to see it again for my birthday with my aunt, which my aunt see the Broadway show 3 times. It's just a wonderful movie. And also, I personally think Moana 2 is an excellent sequel.
Just wait until next week. Sonic 3 comes out.
And also,
I'm hearing that's good.
Yeah. Save your money for Sonic 3. Heck, save your money for Mufasa, which I heard early reaction that it's considered a perfect prequel and / stunning. So save your money for Sonic 3 and Mufasa. Save your money for those instead of going see
Nosferatu.
Or Nosferatu, which Garrett cannot wait to watch again on this one.
Reviews.
Yeah. So just anything, but just anything other than watch Kraven the Hunter.
Do not give Sony your money.
And for those of people that really do think that, this movie is considered watchable and it's not the worst thing you ever seen, go screw yourselves. It is not worth your time or money or even worth renting or even worth downloading. Just no. Stay away. Although Dylan's going to watch it because he loves watching bad movies. So I'm not surprised that he's going to watch this thing. I'm not surprised.
I'm not watching it with you.
I'm not going to watch it either. So now on to the scores.
Actually, you know what? I might want to watch. I might want to watch it with him if he does.
Well,
you can sit out on it, but
yes,
but
guys, I was already mad enough with Madam Web. I was already mad with Kraven. I don't need to get mad again for a third time.
We talked about Madam Web in this podcast more than any other movie this year.
Which I try not to, but that movie's irritated me so much, and
Sony,
and it's Sony's fault. It's not my fault. I keep mentioning this.
No, it's a piece of shit movie.
Exactly.
And so is this one.
Yeah, but yeah, Paul said that Madam Web is at least watchable. Just Jesus Christ.
I really want to know what he thinks about this movie when he sees it.
Yeah.
I dare him to say this is watchable.
Yeah.
I dare him.
Yeah, exactly. Paul, as much as I love you, buddy. Now, down to the scores. I think I have a good idea what you're going to give a score to. I can't give it a 0 because, like I said, the only thing I find, passable was Aaron Taylor Johnson in the score. But other than that, this is equally worse than Madam Web. It's a 1 out of 10 film.
1 out of 10
Don't waste your time with this movie. I swear to God, if any of you are going to give me a defense of why you think this movie is considered passable, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't come near me. Talk to someone else. Goodbye. That's all I have to say. So 1 out of 10. It's brutal.
Screw Sony and their fucking corporate asses.
So your score?
1 out of 10.
There you go.
I may have laughed at this movie. I may have had a good time laughing at it, but it genuinely, objectively, is just horseshit.
Yes, absolutely.
In and out.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah. Don't go see this movie. And like I said, go see Wicked and Moana 2. Go check those out.
See anything else.
Yeah, see anything else. Absolutely. I'm so sad that we won't be able to review Sonic 3 nor the Mufasa film, which it would have been nice if we ended with a bang, and unfortunately we ended with a whimper, which is very sad. So anyway, but if you guys really want to hear our thoughts on Sonic 3, we can do like a separate camera like an Instagram review. So if you guys want to hear our thoughts on Sonic 3 and also the Mufasa movie, we will definitely do that when it comes out at opening weekend.
I might do one for Nosferatu because
nice.
That is yeah. I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah. And I think you guys have a good idea for the New Year's Live special. We think you have a good idea. What's going to be our picks for the worst films of the year? So here's a little sneak peek of that. But which one?
I guarantee you, I honestly, because obviously Madam Web and Kraven are going to be on that list.
Yeah.
I honestly think, because I don't like filling my top 10 list with the same kind of movie. Like I would honestly just lump in one slot in the top 10 these Sony movies. Just Madam Web and Kraven, and I'd even put Venom in there just because I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'd honestly put the three of them in the same slot just because they're all.
I don't blame you. But yeah, we have a good idea what's going to be in our worst picks. But what's going to be our number one movie of the year, guys? You're going to have to find out. You can join us for our live New Year's stream. We're going to talk the best movies of the year, what we're looking forward to coming out next year in 2025, what we like to see in 2025. So get ready, guys, for a very fun New Year's live stream. We cannot wait to talk about that.
We hope you guys enjoyed our anger.
Yes, which I've been so looking forward to reviewing this movie.
As soon as I got out of this movie, I was like, I cannot wait to rip this thing up.
Yeah, same thing. So Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please hit that bell notification so you'll know when new episodes will be coming uploaded. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Threads. To all the followers and people that have been following us, again, we thank you for that. It's that even though there's some stinkers, there was still some incredible movies that came out this year.
Absolutely.
So we can't wait to talk more great movies with you guys coming to you very, very soon. So, guys, have yourself a wonderful Merry Christmas. We're actually gonna do 2 more. I do believe we're gonna do our review rewind of Fat Man and also Violent Night. So you'll be seeing that very, very soon. Have a great Merry Christmas. May God bless you as always. May you have yourself great peace. And hopefully we don't have to see any more of these Sony movies ever again.
I hope. We can only hope. All right, guys. See ya.
See you guys.
Care.
Bye.
We have been the Cinema Asylum Podcast. You guys were awesome. Thanks for coming out. Good night.